In today's lesson, we're talking all about adverbs, the different types that exist, the possible positions in a sentence, and you're going to learn 3 essential rules to master the word order of English sentences with adverbs. And at the end of the lesson, there will be a quiz. I've also created a free PDF with all of today's notes and more examples. You can download it by clicking the link in the description. Let's get started. First, let's review some basic concepts. What is an adverb? Adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, other adverbs, or a whole sentence. When I say modify, I mean that adverbs give more information or add to the meaning of something in a few different ways. You can describe how often, how much, when, where, or why someone does something. Yes, adverbs do a lot of work. Here are some examples. I never eat breakfast. Our adverb is never, and it modifies the verb eat. How often? Never. This movie seems very interesting. Our adverb is very, which modifies the adjective interesting. How interesting? Very. He eats so fast. Here we have 2 adverbs. First, how does he eat? Fast. This is an irregular adverb in this case. We don't add ly here. Well, how fast? So fast, really fast. Keep in mind that an adverb can be an individual word or a phrase. A phrase is a group of words. For example, you can do something on purpose, which means that you do something intentionally.
Pass the salt.
Coming right up.
Oh! You did that on purpose!
Or if something happens out of the blue, that means it happens unexpectedly.
Why would you call me out of the blue?
Now, the important question is, how do we decide where to put the adverb in a sentence? Adverbs can appear in 3 possible positions: initial, mid, or final position. However, English is crazy, so there are a lot of exceptions, and there is some flexibility. It really depends on a few factors. It depends on the type of adverb. So, are we describing how often, how much, etc.? It depends on the emphasis and contrast. If we want to give something special attention or importance, then we can move some adverbs to reflect this. The position of an adverb also depends on the context, in literature versus everyday spoken English. I won't focus on literature in this lesson, but it's good to know that writers sometimes move certain types of adverbs to match a specific literary style. Our first essential rule is that many types of adverbs have a neutral or default position. I'm going to call this mid position. Mid position is immediately before the main verb. For example, I always read the news in the morning. This is correct. Always I read the news in the morning. This is incorrect. I read always the news in the morning. Also incorrect. This is a common mistake I hear when people try to translate the word order from their native language to English. We'll talk about this later in rule number 2. I read the news in the morning, always. Native speakers sometimes put the adverb at the end in informal spoken English for emphasis. However, if the main verb is be, put the adverb immediately after be. He never is late for work? No, he is never late for work. More commonly, with the contraction, he's never late for work. So, what types of adverbs belong in the mid position? First, adverbs of frequency. These adverbs answer the question, how often? I usually work on Saturdays. She's rarely angry. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. This is the title of my favorite TV show. If you have a helping verb or a modal verb, the rule still applies. Put the adverb right before the main verb. I've never watched Star Wars. You can always ask me for help. This rule also applies to imperative sentences where the implied subject is you. Always brush your teeth before you go to bed. Never talk to strangers. But wait, we have an exception. Words like sometimes, usually, or normally are also adverbs of frequency, but it's common to see these words in the initial position of a sentence. Why? To show contrast or emphasis. Normally, he doesn't wear a suit, but today is a special day. The CEO is here. This is exceptional. It's different from the norm. Next, we put adverbs of degree in the mid position. These are adverbs that show the intensity of something and answer the question, how much? I'm absolutely exhausted. I totally agree with you. Wow, he's an incredibly talented singer. This drink is pretty strong. If a drink is strong, that means it has a lot of alcohol. The adverb pretty is really common in spoken English. It means moderately, more than a little, but not very or extremely.
Welcome, Gary. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Good.
I'm pretty sure I know that that's a fact.
Wait, we have another exception. There are a few other adverbs of degree. So much, very much, too much, enough, a lot, a little, a bit. When these adverbs modify a verb, they should be in the final position, after the verb and the object. You worry too much. Thanks a lot. Could you turn down the music a bit? Last night, I didn't sleep enough. Rule number 2 is the most important one. Never separate the main verb and its object. Not all verbs require an object, but if there is one, we have to keep it next to the verb. This is a situation where English is not flexible. I like very much this song. I like a lot this song. I like so much this song. I like this song very much. Main verb plus object, then your adverb. In spoken English, it's a little more common to hear, I like this song a lot. I like this song so much. Or, I really like this song, with really in the mid position. Keep this rule in mind every time you form a sentence in English. This is the foundation for English word order. Let's look at some more adverbs in the final position, which means after the verb and the object. Adverbs of manner describe how an action happens. She walks very quickly. He speaks Italian fluently. Mix the ingredients together. I opened the box carefully. Remember earlier when I talked about literature? Well, it's possible to put adverbs of manner in the initial position or mid-position, but this is almost always in literary contexts like novels, poems, songs, etc. Carefully, I opened the box, or I carefully opened the box. This sounds a bit more stylized and dramatic. Next, we have adverbs of place, direction, and movement. These adverbs describe where something happens or where something is moving or going. There's a new restaurant that opened last week. Would you like to go there? I can't find my keys anywhere. Can you come downstairs and help me find them? Next, we have adverbs of time. which describe when something happens. I haven't played that game in ages. Ages is an informal way to say a long time. It rained a lot yesterday. Someone is coming here tomorrow to fix the air conditioner. All right, once again, we have an exception. You can put a time adverb at the beginning. Why? Again, for emphasis or contrast. How was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? Yeah, on Saturday night, we went to a concert, and on Sunday, we celebrated my sister's birthday. A few years ago, I could run non-stop for an hour. Nowadays, I'm out of breath after running for just a few minutes. Now, you'll notice that these sentences have more than one adverb. Our next rule will explain what we should do in this situation. Rule number 3. Multiple adverbs at the end of a sentence generally follow this order: manner, how, place, where, time, when, and reason, why. Could you drive me to the airport tomorrow morning? Place, then time. The team played really well at the competition last weekend. Manner, place, time. He packed his suitcase very quietly in his room last night to avoid waking us up. Our fourth adverb in this sentence is to avoid waking us up. This is called the infinitive of reason. Remember that this rule is really a general guideline with some room for changes. In other words, you have to know the rules before you can break them. And when do we break these rules? Let's say it together. For emphasis or contrast. We also have some adverbs in the initial position at the very beginning of the sentence. For instance, conjunctive adverbs connect information from the previous statement. In the 1970s, many local factories shut down. Consequently, people were forced to move elsewhere to find jobs. What you said was true. Nevertheless, it still hurt my feelings. Conjunctive adverbs are used for many reasons, to show addition, sequence, results, etc. If you're studying for an exam like the IELTS, TOEIC, or TOEFL, then these are great adverbs to study. I've included a list of more formal conjunctive adverbs in the PDF. Finally, we have comment or viewpoint adverbs, which indicate an attitude, opinion, or point of view. Personally, I think you made the right decision. Unfortunately, we missed our flight. Ideally, we should leave by 10 o'clock. Honestly, I'd rather stay home. In spoken English, we sometimes move these adverbs to other positions. You already know why. For emphasis or contrast, or as an afterthought. An afterthought is something that you mention or add later because you didn't think of it before. Most of the time, we don't know exactly what we're going to say or how we're going to structure our sentence, especially during casual conversation. Let's review our 3 rules before we take the quiz. Number 1. The neutral or default position for an adverb is the mid position, before the main verb, or after the main verb if it is be. This rule applies to most other adverbs that we don't have time to discuss today. Number 2, never separate the main verb and its object. And number 3, if there are multiple adverbs at the end of the sentence, they generally follow this order: manner, place, time, reason. I think we're ready for the quiz. I'll give you 3 seconds to think about your answer, but please pause the video if you need more time. Fill in the blank with the correct answer. Number 1, I late on Saturdays. C, I usually get up late on Saturdays. Number 2, Jared, late for work. B, Jared is never late for work. 3, I watch this show all the time. Part 2. I will show you a sentence. Then your job is to choose the best location for each adverb. The students complained about the high prices. Choose the best location for frequently. Mid-position. The students frequently complained. What about apparently? Initial position. Apparently, the students frequently complained. Now try this adverb, extremely. Apparently, the students frequently complained about the extremely high prices. Here, extremely modifies the adjective high. Don't forget to download the free PDF to review everything you've learned about adverbs today. If you enjoyed this grammar lesson and want to see more, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Gina, this is Your World in English, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!